toxic masculinity.
Let's see here. Heavily armed rioters threaten lone motorist who attempts to defend himself. The person who collects my stories wrote himself twice for some reason. Okay, let's move on to that story. Did I open that? We're not doing that story. Are we doing that story? I haven't, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I haven't read this one, actually. This is crazy. This is crazy. I thought I opened all the stories and I read all of them, but I didn't read this one. I mean, I usually read like half the article. Okay, well, let me look at it. I'm going to be looking at it at the same time you guys are, but this looks kind of crazy. Okay, let's hear. Video: heavily armed leftists surround and threaten lone Portland motorist, but when the fed-up driver points his own gun at them, all hell breaks loose. The same group attacked a different motorist amid the march. One leftist amid the march. I guess this is some kind of a protest thing. One leftist screamed, "You effed with the wrong effing people, bro." Yeah, if I move to Portland, I'm going to have an arsenal in my car. Let's see here. Heavily armed leftists, apparently acting as security for the march in Portland earlier this week, pointed guns at a lone motorist and threatened him before the fed-up driver exited his truck and pointed his own gun at them, and then all hell broke loose. Yeah, you can't just run around pointing guns at people just because you're like... See, this is the thing. Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization. The police got to come in and take those people out. What are the details? The video showed a large group of leftist militants marching down Portland Street, reportedly to remember Patrick Kimmons, a black man fatally shot by Portland police in 2018. They're marching for somebody from 2018? Come on, they'll use any excuse, won't they? But a vehicle apparently leading the group came upon a pickup truck driver who was traveling toward the marchers, and the lead vehicle blocked the driver's path. In seconds, numerous militants descended upon the pickup truck driver and began threatening him. Thing is, though, the driver had a gun too, and the heavily armed militants didn't like that one bit. "You better effing not," one leftist was heard yell at the driver, "Put your effing gun down." The driver, standing behind his truck door, pointed at one particularly well-strapped leftist and yelled twice back, "You got about 5 seconds to lower that effing weapon." I love this guy. What a freaking badass. The lone driver, who faced about a half dozen armed leftists in the standoff, jawed with the hostile group, calling them foul language, and repeatedly ordered them to shut up. One leftist told the driver that his vehicle is a deadly weapon, which didn't go over too well with the driver, who noted that rifles pointed in his direction. Yeah, no joke. As the driver got back into his truck, he began to move past the militants. One leftist called him an effing Nazi, as others demanded that he get out of here. Okay. So somebody threw something at his truck. He stopped, got out, and confronted the group. The situation grew tense, with many people screaming, and the driver grabbed his gun and moved forward one of the rifle-wielding leftists, who promptly shoved the driver backwards. With that, the driver regained his footing, drew his gun on the group, but he was tackled from behind after watching numerous militants pile on him. Soon the driver was requesting an ambulance, asking for his gun back, and telling the leftists that he's a disabled Marine. That's a shame. It didn't end well. But wait, there's more fun. If you thought that was enough left-wing lawlessness for one day, there's the video of the same armed group tracking a different vehicle whose driver didn't obey their orders. All right, you know what? Some kind of militia has got to take form in Portland, and just every time they go march with their little military group of security leftists, our conservative militant group approaches them and moves them out of the way. Because this is totally inappropriate. You cannot have these rogue armed people like directing traffic. Okay, that is not appropriate. That's not the kind of country that we want to live in. It's flipping ridiculous. All right, well, that is a bit of a sad story. I would have liked for the Marine to have won there, but it is difficult in numbers. I mean, we're so used to watching these movies where you got Bruce Lee walk up to like 100 guys and beat them all up. But the reality is, once you multiply, it's one guy against a little army, it's almost impossible for the one person to win. That's basically movies. So you have one guy with a gun and 6 people with a gun, and it's not going to turn out well for the one guy. So you need, there's safety in numbers. We need more people than just one guy with a gun and a truck to confront these people. All right, let's move on to the next story. This one's quite important because it's well, it's not as important as it looks, but I don't like what they're doing. It's just more power, more control by the federal government, stuff that I don't like. So the story here is, oh gosh, where are we? Experts warn Biden's land and water conservation plan is a land grab. Okay, so they've got this. Biden's got this new plan called 30 by 30, where he wants to take 30% of the land in America by 2030, and basically put it in the hands of the federal government. Oh joy, because we need the federal government to be even bigger. So let's go ahead and have a look at what this guy has to say. He's a fisherman, and he's not happy about this.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.